sheet metal and non-metallic structures. 1. A well-designed rivet joint will subject the rivets to shear loads. 2. Aircraft structural units, such as spars, engine supports, etc., which have been built up from sheet metal, are normally repairable, using approved methods. 3. One of the best ways to assure that a properly prepared batch of matrix resin has been achieved is to have mixed enough for a test sample. 4. If it is necessary to compute a bend allowance problem and bend allowance tables are not available, the neutral axis of the bend can be. If it is necessary to compute a bend allowance problem and bend allowance tables are not available, the neutral axis of the bend can be. 5. Sandwich panels made of metal honeycomb construction are used on modern aircraft because this type of construction has a high strength-to-weight ratio. 6. Refer to Figure 5. What is the flat layout dimension? 6.8 inches. 7. When repairing a small hole on a metal stressed skin, the major consideration in the design of the patch should be the shear strength of the riveted joint. 8. Refer to Figure 6. What is dimension D? Setback equals 0.252, bend allowance equals 0.345. 4.182. 9. When repairing large, flat surfaces with polyester resins, warping of the surface is likely to occur. One method of reducing the amount of warpage is to use short strips of fiberglass in the bonded repair. 10. What is the most common method of cementing transparent plastics? Soak method. 11. The classification for fiberglass reinforcement material that has high resistivity and is the most common is E-glass. 12. A single lap sheet splice is to be used to repair a section of damaged aluminum skin. If a double row of 1/8-inch rivets is used, the minimum allowable overlap will be 13/16 inch. 13. What should be the included angle of a twist drill for soft metals? 90 degrees. 14. When bending metal, the material on the outside of the curve stretches while the material on the inside of the curve compresses. That part of the material which is not affected by either stress is the neutral line. 15. Which procedure is correct when using a reamer to finish a drilled hole to the correct size? Turn the reamer only in the cutting direction. 16. When an MS20470D rivet is installed, its full shear strength is obtained only after a period of age hardening. 17. A sheet metal repair is to be made using two pieces of 0.0625-inch aluminum riveted together. All rivet holes are drilled for 1/8-inch rivets. The length of the rivets to be used will be 5/16-inch. 18. When installing transparent plastic enclosures which are retained by bolts extending through the plastic material and self-locking nuts, the nuts should be tightened to a firm fit, then backed off one full turn. 19. Which is an identifying characteristic of acrylic plastics? Zinc chloride will have no effect. 20. Composite fabric material is considered to be the strongest in what direction? Warp. 21. Which statement is true regarding a cantilever wing? No external bracing is needed. 22. Unless otherwise specified, the radius of a bend is the inside radius of the metal being formed. 23. Alloy 2117 rivets are heat-treated by the manufacturer and do not require heat treatment before being driven. 24. What is the purpose of a gusset or gusset plate used in the construction and repair of aircraft structures? To join and reinforce intersecting structural members. 25. When making repairs to fiberglass, cleaning of the area to be repaired is essential for a good bond. The final cleaning should be made using MEK, methyl ethyl ketone. 26. The identifying marks on the heads of aluminum alloy rivets indicate the specific alloy used in the manufacture of the rivets. 27. Metal fasteners used with carbon graphite composite structures must be constructed of material such as titanium or corrosion-resistant steel. 28. Fiberglass damage that extends completely through a laminated sandwich structure may be repaired. 29. You can distinguish between aluminum and aluminum alloy by testing with a 10% solution of caustic soda. 30. A potted compound repair on honeycomb can usually be made on damages less than 1 inch in diameter. 31. The aluminum alloys used in aircraft construction are usually hardened by which method? Heat treatment. 32. Mild steel rivets are used for riveting steel parts. 33. Which rivet may be used as received without further treatment? 2117-T3. 34. What precaution, if any, should be taken to prevent corrosion inside a repaired metal honeycomb structure? Prime the repair with a corrosion inhibitor and seal from the atmosphere. 35. What is the minimum spacing for a single row of aircraft rivets? 3 times the diameter of that rivet shank. 36. Select the alternative which best describes the function of the flute section of a twist drill. Forms the cutting edges of the drill point. 37. Rivet gauge, or transverse pitch, is the distance between the centers of rivets in adjacent rows. 38. The coefficient of expansion of most plastic enclosure materials is greater than both steel and aluminum. 39. How many of the following are benefits of using microballoons when making repairs to laminated honeycomb panels? 2. Improved strength to weight ratio. 3. Less density. 4. Lower stress concentrations. 40. Shallow scratches in sheet metal may be repaired by burnishing. 41. Which fiber to resin % ratio for advanced composite wet layups is generally considered the best for strength? 60-40. 42. When necessary, what type of cutting fluid is usually acceptable for machining composite laminates? Water only. 43. Refer to Figure 5. What is the length of flat A? 3.7 inches. 44. Longitudinal, fore and aft structural members of a semi-NOCOQUE fuselage are called longerons and stringers. 45. The most important factors needed to make a flat pattern layout are radius, thickness, and degree of bend. 46. Cabin upholstery materials installed in current standard category airplanes must be at least flame resistant. 47. The sight line on a sheet metal flat layout to be bent in a cornice or box break is measured and marked 1 radius from the bent tangent line that is placed under the break. 48. A main difference between lock bolt, hook bolt tension, and shear fasteners, other than their application, is in the number of locking collar grooves. 49. When a piece of aluminum alloy is to be bent using the minimum radius for the type and thickness of material, the layout should be made so that the bend will be 90 degrees to the grain of the sheet. 50. One method of inspecting a laminated fiberglass structure that has been subjected to damage is to strip the damaged area of all paint and shine a strong light through the structure. 51. Jaw glass and remove rivet shanks would indicate partial shear failure. 52. A factor which determines the minimum space between rivets is the diameter of the rivets being used. 53. Which rivet is used for riveting nickel steel alloys? Monel. 54. When drilling stainless steel, the drill used should have an included angle of 140 degrees and turn at a low speed. 55. A piece of flat stock that is to be bent to a closed angle of 15 degrees must be bent through an angle of 165 degrees. 56. A DD rivet is heat treated before used to soften to facilitate riveting. 57. The strength and stiffness of a properly constructed composite buildup depends primarily on the orientation of the plies to the load direction. 58. The part of a replacement honeycomb core that must line up with the adjacent original is the ribbon direction. 59. What is the minimum edge distance for aircraft rivets? 2 times the diameter of that rivet shank. 60. When repairing puncture-type damage of a metal face laminated honeycomb panel, the edges of the doubler should be tapered to 100 times the thickness of the metal. 61. Which part S of a semi-NOCOQUE fuselage prevent S tension and compression from bending the fuselage? Longerons and stringers. 62. Which of the following are generally characteristic of carbon graphite fiber composites? 1. Flexibility. 3. High compressive strength. 5. Ability to conduct electricity. 63. Refer to Figure 3, which is the grip length of the flush rivet. 3. 64. When balsa wood is used to replace a damaged honeycomb core, the plug should be cut so that the grain is perpendicular to the skin. 65. When comparing the machining techniques for stainless steel sheet material to those for aluminum alloy sheet, it is normally considered good practice to drill the stainless steel at a lower speed with more pressure applied to the drill. 66. The flat layout or blank length of a piece of metal from which a simple L-shaped bracket 3 inches by 1 inch is to be bent depends upon the radius of the desired bend. The bracket which will require the greatest amount of material is one which has a bend radius of 1/8 inch. 67. Which statement is true regarding the inspection of a stressed skin metal wing assembly known to have been critically loaded? If genuine rivet tipping has occurred, groups of consecutive rivet heads will be tipped in the same direction. 68. How does acoustic emission testing detect defects in composite materials? By picking up the noise of any deterioration that may be present. 69. Under certain conditions, Type A rivets are not used because of their low strength characteristics. 70. Repairs or splices involving stringers on the lower surface of stressed skin metal wings are usually permitted but are normally more critical in reference to strength and tension than similar repairs to the upper surface. 71. The dimensions of an MS-2043080-4-8 rivet are 1/8 inch in diameter and 1/2 inch long. 72. The classification for high tensile strength fiberglass used in aircraft structures is S-class. 73. When straightening members made of 2024-T4, you should straighten cold and reinforce. 74. The length of time that a catalyzed resin will remain in a workable state is called the pot life. 75. Which is considered good practice concerning the installation of acrylic plastics? When rivets are used, Adequate spacer or other satisfactory means to prevent excessive tightening of the frame to the plastic should be provided. 76. On a sheet metal fitting layout with a single bend, allow for stretching by subtracting the setback from both legs. 77. Which part of the 2017-T36 aluminum alloy designation indicates the primary alloying agent used in its manufacture? 2. 78. Superficial scars, scratches, surface abrasion, or rain erosion on fiberglass laminates can generally be repaired by applying one or more coats of suitable resin, room temperature catalyzed, to the surface. 79. What type loads cause the most rivet failures? Shear. 80. One of the main advantages of high-lock type fasteners over earlier generations is that they can be installed with ordinary hand tools. 81. 1. When performing a ring, coin tap test on composite structures, a change in sound may be due to damage or to transition to a different internal structure. Only number 1 is true. 82. What should be the included angle of a twist drill for hard metal? 100 degrees. 83. The length of rivet to be chosen when making a structural repair that involves the joining of .032 inch and .064 inch aluminum sheet, drilled with a number 30 drill, is 5/16 inch. 84. A category of plastic material that is capable of softening or flowing when reheated is described as a thermoplastic. 85. Fiberglass laminate damage that extends completely through one facing and into the core requires the replacement of the damaged core and facing. 86. A piece of sheet metal is bent to a certain radius. The curvature of the bend is referred to as the bend radius. 87. What type of bit should be used to drill holes in plexiglass? A specially modified twist drill. 88. Refer to Figure 6. Determine the dimensions of A, B, and C in the flat layout. Setback equals .252, bend allowance equals .345. A equals .748, B equals 1.496, C equals 1.248. 89. MS 204268D-6-5 indicates a countersunk rivet which has an overall length of 5/16 inch. 90. Most rivets used in aircraft construction have dimples. 91. The Gusset turnlock fastener consists of a stud, grommet, and receptacle. The stud diameter is measured in 1/16 of an inch. 92. Refer to Figure 4. The amount of material required to make the 90-degree bend is .3436 inch. 93. Repairing advanced composites using materials and techniques traditionally used for fiberglass repairs is likely to result in an unairworthy repair. 94. Heat-treated rivets in the D and DD series that are not driven within the prescribed time after heat treatment or removal from refrigeration must be reheat-treated before use. 95. Refer to Figure 1. Which of the rivets shown will accurately fit the conical depression made by a 100-degree countersink? 1. 96. A rivet set used to drive MS 20470 rivets should have a slightly greater radius than the rivet head. 97. How many MS 20470 8D46 rivets will be required to attach a 10x 5-inch plate using a single row of rivets, minimum edge distance, and 4D spacing? 56. 98. When inspecting a composite panel using the ring test tapping method, a dull thud may indicate separation of the laminates. 99. If a new safety belt is to be installed in an aircraft, the belt must conform to the strength requirements in which document. So C22. 100. A sheet metal repair is to be made using two pieces of .040-inch aluminum riveted together. All rivet holes are drilled for 3 32-inch rivets. The length of the rivets to be used will be 1 4-inch. 101. Proper pre-PREG composite layup curing is generally accomplished by 1. Applying external heat. 4. Applying pressure. 102. The length of a rivet to be used to join a sheet of .032-inch and .064-inch aluminum alloy should be equal to 1 1/2 times the rivet diameter plus .096-inch. 103. The general rule for finding the proper rivet diameter is 3 times the thickness of the thickest sheet. 104. The Gusset turnlock fastener consists of a stud, grommet, and receptacle. The stud length is measured in hundredths of an inch. 105. What reference tool is used to determine how the fiber is to be oriented for a particular ply of fabric? Warp clock, or compass. 106. Refer to Figure 2. Select the preferred drawing for proper COUNTERSINKING. 1. 107. When riveting dissimilar metals together, what precautions must be taken to prevent an electrolytic action? Place a protective separator between areas of potential electrical difference. 108. The installation of Cherry Max and Olympic lock rivets is accomplished by utilizing a pulling tool. 109. The primary alloying agent of 2024-T3 is indicated by the number 2. 110. Refer to Figure 4. The length of flat A is 3.750 inches. 111. Which of the following need not be considered when determining minimum rivet spacing? Rivet length. 112. The sharpest bend that can be placed in a piece of metal without critically weakening the part is called the minimum radius of bend. 113. Hole-filling fasteners, for example, MS 20470 rivets should not be used in composite structures primarily because of the possibility of causing delamination. 114. What is the material layer used within the vacuum bag pressure system to absorb excess resin during curing called bleeder? 115. Parts fabricated from Alclad 2024-T3 aluminum sheet stock must have all scratches, kinks, tool marks, nicks, etc. must be held to a minimum. 116. Which of the following are generally characteristic of aramid fiber, Kevlar composites? 1. High tensile strength. 2. Flexibility. 117. If a streamline cover plate is to be hand-formed using a form block, a piece of dead soft aluminum should first be placed over the hollow portion of the mold and securely fastened in place. The bumping operation should be started by tapping the aluminum lightly around the edges and gradually working down into the center. 118. If an aircraft's transparent plastic enclosures exhibit fine cracks which may extend in a network over or under the surface or through the plastic is said to be crazing. 119. If no scratches are visible after transparent plastic enclosure materials have been cleaned, their surfaces should be covered with a thin coat of wax. 120. What is the purpose of refrigerating 2017 and 2024 aluminum alloy rivets after heat treatment? To retard age hardening. 121. Refer to Figure 7. What is dimension F? Setback at D equals 0.095, setback at E equals 0.068, bend allowance at D equals 0.150, bend allowance at E equals 0.112. 5.936. 122. Which of the following, when added to wet resins, provides strength for the repair of damaged fastener holes in composite panels? 2. Flux. 3. Chopped fibers. 123. What is one of the determining factors which permits machine countersinking when flush riveting? Thickness of the material is greater than the thickness of the rivet head. 124. Which rivets should be selected to join two sheets of 0.032-inch aluminum? MS-2047080-4-4. 125. The monocoque fuselage relies largely on the strength of skin or covering. 126. Fiberglass laminate damage not exceeding the first layer or ply can be repaired by filling with a putty consisting of a compatible resin and clean, short glass fibers. 127. What is generally the best procedure to use when removing a solid shank rivet? Drill to the base of the manufactured rivet head with a drill one size smaller than the rivet shank and remove the rivet with a punch. 128. Rivet pitch is the distance between the centers of adjacent rivets in the same row. 129. Threaded rivets, rivnuts, are commonly used to attach parts or components with screws to sheet metal. 130. The preferred way to make permanent repairs on composites is by laminating on new repair plies. 131. The markings on the head of a Gusset fastener identify the body diameter, type of head, and length of the fastener. 132. What is indicated by a black, smoky residue streaming back from some of the rivets on an aircraft? Fretting corrosion is occurring between the rivets and the skin. 133. Which of these methods may be used to inspect fiberglass honeycomb structures for entrapped water? 2. X-ray. 3. Backlighting. 134. Which is correct concerning the use of a file? Apply pressure on the forward stroke only, except when filing very soft metals such as lead or aluminum. 135. The purpose of a joggle is to allow clearance for a sheet or an extrusion. 136. Clad aluminum alloys are used in aircraft because they are less subject to corrosion than uncoated aluminum alloys. 137. The shop head of a rivet should be 1½ times the diameter of the rivet shank. 138. Which rivet is used for riveting magnesium alloy structures? 5056 aluminum.